Hey guys, and welcome to the Hobby News. Alright, what a big weekend. We've seen some big reveals here, quite a few different things as you can see in front of me. Yeah, a lot of stuff that a lot of people have been waiting for, and it's really nice to see that Games Workshop has listened and brought out some, really, really cool models. You're definitely sport for choice here. We're going to go through it all. It's pretty amazing considering how long some of these models have been around for without an update, and now they've get this great new update and so on, and a lot of new stuff that is brand new, and yeah, all kinds of stuff in here, and an interesting new set of rules and box set for Kill Team. Looks like they've rebuilt it from the ground up. Looks very much like, I guess, the Warcry of 40k, and hopefully the rules will no longer be just a straight sort of introduction into 40k, but rather have its own set of rules that is, in and of itself a game that you can have fun with, be competitive with, and so on and so forth, which I think is a much better way to do it than sort of having some weird set of rules that just kind of slowly gets you into 40k. I've said this before, but no one gets into this hobby just to do one little tiny thing and all this kind of stuff. If you're taking on board this hobby, then to get the most out of it and have the most fun, you need to go all in. Whatever game system it is, whatever box system it is, whatever, even if it's not Games Workshop, any other tabletop game or whatever, to get the most out of it, you really need to go all in. Feet first, and it's good to see they've sort of done that for Kill Team, really given it its own identity. So we're going to go and take a look. I'll stop yabbering on, but yeah, pretty cool. So let's see what it's all about. Warhammer Preview Online. What's Octarius mission briefing. So this is, I guess, this encompasses a lot of stuff. So it's not just, we'll just pause that. It's not just, I guess, for Kill Team, but it's also for 40k as well, in terms of, it looks like there's a new campaign book or whatever coming as well, which will, though I think they have a bit of that down the bottom here, but yeah, it's a whole big deal, and it's encompassing also some of the Orc release as well. So we'll come down. So it's nice here. They've got this little bullet point here, which I haven't really noticed before when I've been going through these articles, but they actually have a bit of a thing that sort of gives you an overview, which is nice. So a new era of Kill Team, complete with a stunning box set, new 40k campaign book. The final wave is this year's Orc releases, including something called a Kill Rig. So we're looking at probably everything they're going to get, so that is interesting. So they're not getting another wave after this, so the things we see here are probably it for the Orc range, but not to say that's a bad thing. They've had some really nice stuff, and the key things that have been updated are the Orc boys, which is I think a crucial thing, and all Orc players should be very happy with that. And a teaser trailer featuring certain chapter of very Crusade-y Space Marines. Yeah, so we'll get to that, but yeah, essentially Black Templars are getting I guess something. Who knows what they're getting, but it shows a little clip at the end. I won't do the video. If you want to go and look at the video very end of it, it's got like a little teaser that shows an Emperor's Champion kneeling before an altar, a Black Templar altar, and yeah, I guess they're going to get some Primaris stuff, I would imagine. I don't know how much. I'm assuming it'll be more of a sort of an upgrade pack or something like that for a standard box, or maybe they'll have a few characters for Black Templars, and maybe just like, a few other things. I don't know how much, purely unique stuff they're going to get, but I would imagine at least characters and a rule set of some sort. So that's pretty cool. That's a nice thing for all those Black Templar players. I was around for when Black Templars first became a thing. I was working for the company back then in the good old days, and I can remember them coming onto the scene. So it's interesting to see this now. It's a very strange thing coming back into 40k after these last couple of years, and then seeing all these sorts of things happen. Orcs getting a redo after 20 something years and so on, and now Black Templars are getting a bit of love. It's a very strange deja vu kind of thing. Anyway, that's because I'm old. So let's get onto it. So Kill Team Octarius. Okay, so it looks really, really cool. I won't go through the trailer here, but yeah, it looks like they've put a lot of effort in to really remake this game into something, a standalone game. That's what it feels like, rather than a sort of a some sort of lead into 40k. Because really, just get into 40k. If you want to play 40k, just play 40k. You can play small games, you can play big games. You can play 500-point games of 40k, and they're quite short. But to me, the idea of the Kill Team thing never made sense. You really want it to have its own identity and its own thing, because that's going to be more satisfying, because you feel like you're playing something that is resolved. It has a full set of rules from A to Z. You're playing a game that's in and of itself. Same with, so the players that play Warcry, that's like their thing. They get to enjoy that, just like if you play any other sub games like Necromunda or Blood Bowl or whatever. It's its own world, its own thing. They can do unique models for it. They can step outside the normal canon, the normal lore, and the normal kind of regime of the large game systems, and create unique and interesting models which they just can't do in the main games. Specialized characters and little things and nuances in the depths of like hive cities, and all the myriad types of worlds that exist in 40k. They can really dig into all of that and create some really fun stuff, and we do actually see some of that in these new models. Some interesting weapon types, some different types of bionics, and sort of interesting little design elements on the models, and we've been seeing that with Necromunda as well. And I think that's the way to go here for Kill Team. I think that's definitely the thing, is to just make it its own thing and not have a sort of wishy-washy in between. As I said, for people that don't want large games, just play small games of 40k. There's no reason why you can't. But this looks really cool. So let's have a look. So we've got the box game here. It looks like it's very good value. You're getting much like Warcry. It's on the same kind of format, the same flat board format there. Or it looks like there's just maybe two of them. Is that two? I don't know. Anyway, but it's a similar size, and we've got quite a lot of terrain in this pack. So if you're an Orc player 40k, you probably buy this because, one, you're getting all the sweet new Orcs we're going to have a look at, and two, you're getting all of this great terrain that you can theme a board around. So depending on what the cost of this is, that could be really great for 40k players as well. And most importantly, I won't leave them out. You've got the Deathcore Krieg. They've finally got a plastic kit, which bodes very well for the Imperial Guard release, because it means we probably will see some other stuff as well. I would very find it very surprising if that was all you get. I was a bit worried, like, cause, when you got the Cadian upgrade sprue, I was like, are they just going to do that for Imperial Guard? And now we see they've got a whole set here for this. And the Death Krieg here, that they make a lot of sense because, they've got a look that's very 40k, the trench coat look, all that stuff. It's also a sort of a look that can be converted into many different guard regiments, whereas the Cadians are a bit more, I guess, more recognizable as Cadian, just because, I guess, the years of lore and imagery and so on that are around them. But, if you were to remove these heads and put different heads on with that trench coat, you could have Valhallans, you could have, all kinds of different other guard regiments from that. So I kind of like that they've done this now, because that gives guard players a lot more available choices for conversion and so on. So it's a really, really cool thing. But we're looking like we're getting some pretty good value here. There's about I think about 10 to 12 models on the Orc. Well, they're two 10-man squads. The Orcs will have a couple extra models in there, the Grot and the Squig, and then but I think the Guard is just the 10 plus a little medic pack that you get along the way. So yeah, really, really cool. Let's take a look at the models. So yeah, really awesome. They're also devoid of shovels, spades, which is kind of interesting. Hopefully there's some extras in there for those Deathcore players that want to have, the World War I kind of trench style warfare thing, but still all really, really beautiful models. I mean, we've seen this sort of design before. It's just sort of upgraded. It's like the next level kind of thing, and the fact that they're plastic is going to be really great for guard players. One of my close mates, he plays Deathcore, and he's got all the resin ones, and it's a very expensive army, and he's put a lot of love and care into it. And having a few packs of these that he can throw in to sort of mix it up, I think it will be a great thing. There's a lot of ways that you can convert these. They're all really beautiful. You've got all kinds of nice little characterful poses, and these different types of little weapons. See all this little bionics here. We're seeing some interesting choices in their design. Their las guns are a slightly different model. We've got lots of little design features on these that are just varying it up and giving you something more interesting, and I think that's really, really cool. You got the grenade here and so on. Like, everything about them is really cool, and I can imagine the bayonets as well. You're going to see some really beautiful guard projects coming out of this, in tournaments and other clubs and around the world. People are going to be doing some good stuff. I think it's really cool, and if there's more of this for the guard release, I mean, that'll be just amazing to have more than one option for your guard army, to be able to have another style of plastic kit that you could do that isn't Cadian is like awesome, because then all they got to do is release different heads, little extras and so on, like they did for the Cadian upgrade, and you can have infinitely different types of guard armies and so on, and make that book really deep. I think that's probably the best for the guard, is that they try to make it as deep and interesting as possible with a lot of different builds. I think that will give them more strength, like a sort of like the way, I guess, Cities of Sigmar is in AOS. It's a very deep book. There's tons in it. There's heaps of units. I feel like if they were to do a lot of sub factions and a lot of interesting different I guess, worlds that they can come from, and different ways that you can synergize them and all that stuff, that will keep players coming back to guard and making them interesting. So not necessarily that they might be like the most competitive, but very interesting to play, and that you can play them in different styles over and over again, and recreate different builds with the models that you have. And I think that'd be really cool. A good design direction for them, but we'll wait and see. But yeah, you can see how cool they are. I mean, they're just really, really good. So yeah, that's pretty much all of them. We'll take a look at what they say here. Whole squad of Death Corps of Krieg in plastic. Yes, finally happening in Kill Team. Life is nasty, brutish, and short in the ranks of the Death Corps, but their preferred style of attritional warfare ensures that those who do survive pick up a dizzying array of skills along the way. Okay, so that's all the sort of progression part of Kill Team, which is great. They don't really say anything else hinting for 40k, but anyway, we'll come down, and then we have the Commandos, and these are amazing. I mean, for all players, you got to be so happy right now. I mean, just the flavor, and this really makes me feel like super old school Rogue Trader to early 40k vibes here, like all of this like lovely character they've put back into the Orks. I was kind of worried because we've seen a lot of Ork releases where they're very serious, between AOS and 40k, a lot of more sort of less quirky, characterful kind of things going on. But there's been a bit more serious tone, but it's nice that they've kind of melded that with something that still feels very much like a Rogue Trader Ork. Like this feels like one of the early drawings, illustrations of an Ork back in Rogue Trader. Like, just looking at that guy, he's very much from that era, but in a new school way, in a new design, in a modern aesthetic. I think that's a really, really nice move. I think it's a great nod to the early days of Orks, and any Ork player that's been around since those days, that can remember that time, apart from myself, will really appreciate this. I think this is just a great nod to that era. And then, and that also includes the Grots. I mean, look at this guy. He's just amazing. We've got the the special forces, the SEAL team kind of night goggles on, and he's got all the the little gloves on, everything, the grappling hook. I mean, this is just perfect stuff, right? That's so good. You got the knife guy here, the classic Rambo style knife man. Then we've got like this bomb squig, which looks amazing. I mean, it goes on and on. Every single model is great. Scuba gear for the SEAL over here. We've got like the commando here with his, or the SEAL with the beanie on and everything. That's just really cool. I mean, so many lovely details. The breacher, the Mac 10 over here, the Uzi, you got that's pretty cool. I'm pretty sure that's what it's meant to be, right? He's doing that one-handed Uzi. They should have. You're definitely going to have to cut that hand and cock it to the side and have that go sideways. That's just perfect for this guy. But anyway, just so much cool interest in all these models, and yeah, I mean, for all players, they must be just. I mean, look at this mask. I mean, that's so good. You do so much fun stuff with this guy, and this gun is really different. As I said, there's these weird new, interesting designs that we're seeing. Whatever this gun does, who knows? There's tons of little cues and little things on all of these which are new and interesting. We've got the sniper here and the flamer guy with the glove on to hold the weapon. Just tons of great little interesting little moments on these models that are just awesome. So that's all really good. So so cool to see that happening for them. So now I'll have a look here. So I don't think there's anything else. Each of these kill teams is packed with options. Is customize them to your liking, including loadouts, allowing them to be used in your games of 40k. Yeah. So on that pre-release video, it shows the models in their sets, and it looks like they are designed to be a box set for 40k, which does mean that they're probably going to have more Death Krieg stuff with that, which I think will be really, really cool. So all good. Everything looks like it's working really well. We've got the terrain set here, and I think you do some really, really cool themey stuff. This really is a great basis for your home games, 40k and so on. Or if you want to just do only Kill Team or Necromunda or something like that, this is a great starting point. There's tons of nice little things that you can add on. If you were to get some foam and foam core and build this up and create a whole little city out of it, that'd be amazing. Yeah, really, really good. I like this type of stuff. I think adding terrain sets into boxes is good. I've always liked that. I think that's great. It gives you something to begin with, so you're not playing on books and coffee mugs and all of that kind of stuff, which isn't anywhere near as much fun as this. Even if it's unpainted, it's still more fun, right? So here we go. Okay, that's what I was talking about. So you can see how this is a contained kit, and same with the commandos. So we're going to see that with their releases for Orks, and when Imperial Guard get released, you'll see that as well. And I think that's really, really cool. So we've got their game board and all of that. I mean, what's not to like about this? If the box set is decently priced, it's going to sell really, really well. Not just for players that want to play Kill Team, but for anyone that's collecting these armies is going to probably buy this because there's a lot of nice stuff there. So really, really good. I'm really excited for that, and I'm pretty sure everyone else will be as well that's into those armies. And then we've got the Octarius Sector. So now this is the Warzone book, one of these campaign books. Now there's a lot of mixed feelings in the community about this, or at least online there is. I don't know whether there actually is or not. If you're living in a place still being affected heavily by COVID and you're not able to get out yet, or you're in lockdowns, as I am right now in Australia, we've got a bit of a lockdown happening, and so the chances to actually play games and see if these books actually have any effect on the game is kind of like hearsay. You're only really getting influenced by YouTubers and people talking about this online, and how much of that is really true, I mean, who knows. I don't mind all this stuff, but I do feel like splitting up an army's rules through multiple books is kind of a little bit annoying, at the very least, and having it kind of compiled in some way would be really amazing. Like at the end of the series, at least they compile it or something, I don't know. But hey, it's their business model, it's what they do. But it's cool that they're at least developing the backstories, but how good this is, it's really hard to tell. I know that there's been some of these, especially for AdMech and stuff, the things that have been in these books have been a bit broken or a little bit too overpowered, or just adding too many rules for that faction that's already strong. So, that kind of thing. But it is cool that they're actually focusing on some Xeno races in this. So I think this one has your Xeno stuff. So it looks like at least from the cover, you got Tyranids and so on and Orks, so that should be good. We'll see if they say anything about it. So Rising Tide in the next major narrative supplement for Warhammer 40k, covering the formation of the Cordon Impenetra, I don't know, whatever. Imperial's desperate attempts to keep the war contained. Octarius is packed full of both lore and rules for the armies involved, including new armies of renown and codex supplements. So within the Xenos hordes threatening to break out into Imperial space, a monumental war effort is underway, aiming to prevent any one side from becoming too powerful. So from the look of it, we've got Orks, we've got Tyranids, and I'm sure there'll be some other stuff in there as well. But it's nice they're giving guard, if there's a lot of additional rules for guard factions, that'd be really great as well. I'd like to see that. I think that's nice. I don't mind if Imperial Guard get a bit overpowered, or Tyranids do. I think that's okay. So out of all the different, books that you could have something overpowered, I think it's all right to give these guys their time in the sun, as neither faction has ever been overpowered in the whole history of the game, as far as I remember. So, giving them a chance is nice. I think that's kind of a cool thing, right? So I don't think we can be too hard on them for this particular campaign book. I hope it does give them something good and something to give everyone else a bit of a run for their money. That would be really nice. So let's see. You can see from these battle scenes where Octavius is so appealing to the Orcs. A Titanic Throwdown is only a planet or two away, which means plenty of opportunities for aspiring war bosses keen to prove their mettle in a scrap. Yeah, so, it's nice. So now we've got the big Orc reveal. So this is a really big news segment. Sorry it's going to take so long of me waffling on, but there's a lot to go through here. There's tons of new stuff. So I think this is really, really cool. We're seeing some great new additives to the Orc range, and this feels very much like Age of Sigmar style, with the way they're releasing these Orcs and these new type of Orcs and so on, full of character, full of interest. It feels very much like an AOS release, which is really nice to see for 40k, because we get to see some really interesting individual models that are great just for painting on their own, right? Not just for making an army. So you're going to be able to, you'll if you're a painter and you like just painting individual models, there's a ton of stuff here which you'd be, tempted by, The Orcs are rampaging, and Almighty War is gathering momentum across the sector. The beast snaggers in particular are having the time of their lives, hunting down all manner of ferocious behemoths spawned by High Fleet Leviathan. Now the snaggers are ready to break out their biggest weapons to crush Tyranids and Imperials alike. Yep. So we've got some really, really interesting units here. Now this thing, obviously it's inspired by Mad Max. We've got the guy on the top there, the big flaming skull thing. Just an amazing, it's called a kill rig. Yeah, so they got a few different variants of this. This is obviously the most Mad Maxy one with the guy on top. This is your Warboy. So really interesting kind of idea and design. Again, very AOS. This is like a very AOS type of release, but in 40k. And I think for Orcs, that's really appropriate. I think all this stuff here is really cool. This squig is just amazing. I can see a lot of conversion possibilities here. Every Orc is doing something interesting. What else can I say? It's a great model. I don't know how good it's going to be in 40k, but it's a very, very cool model, and I can see people having a lot of fun with it. You could do some battle wagon conversions with this. You could do all kinds of things. Taubo the Momentous Trampler Squig, and home to a wide-eyed Warboy. The Killrig is a true engine of destruction that plows through infantry and vehicles alike by amplifying the Psyker's War energy through a contraption known as the Whir Tower. Its Beast Snagger pilots can blast crackling lances of pure orky power at their foes. Yeah, cool. So it's just great. There's a little grot in here inside the contraption. Like, everything about this is awesome. So I think that's a real win for Orc players. You got tons and tons that you can do with this thing. It's just really, really cool. And then we've got the other variant. So you got the big cannon on the back. You got this cool platform here. I think that's where you put your war boss or something. So there might even be some carrying capacity on this. I don't know, but that is kind of interesting. They've got this platform here, so maybe there is a little bit of carrying capacity on one of these, but who knows? Transport. Oh, okay, yeah. So despite their reverence for their ocular nature of the Warboys, certain beast snaggers are loath to have such a volatile creature riding with them. Instead, they fit extra decks and grab handles to transport hollering mobs of their clanmates into battle, transforming their vehicle into hunter rig. Yeah, okay, so it's basically the transport option. So that's really cool. That's good. It's good you got those options for it. And then we have this beautiful model. So yeah, just great. That's got the little targeting squig. You just buy it for that, right? The little targeting squig. Very cool. I love the design that they're going for with the claws here and a lot of their, their tech and their armor. I really do like that look. It's really, really cool. So, you know, again, so many conversions here, so much stuff we can say about it. It's just awesome. So all the details there, you know, I mean, so many bits here you could chop up and make all interesting characters and unique styles. Tons of little details. Yeah, I mean, what else to say? But yeah, cool. And then this is interesting. So they've got like a terrain piece. So I don't know how this is going to factor in, because this kind of stuff doesn't really, I don't see this working very well in 40k. It's different in fantasy because of just the nature of it. But for 40k, having like themed terrain pieces, I don't know what this is going to end up doing for us for 40k, but you know, it could be cool, I don't know. But anything that's static where you've got to sit on it or stand on it is really bad for 40k. So I can say this is a cool like terrain piece. I would just have this as a thing that you put on the board to make it orky. That's nice, but having it as anything else I think is a bit sort of, you know, whatever. But it is cool. It's a nice feature. And then we've got like the big reveal here of the Beast Snagga special character. So this guy is really cool, the Great White Squig. Yeah, just what can I say? Mosgrog, was it Scragbad? Yeah, he's got a weird name, but beautiful model. You know, the Great White Pointer sort of style shark motif of the squig, all these little extras, the bionics and so on, and the guy on top, really cool. Interesting that they went for a much more calm pose for this guy. In the picture, he's way more animated, but they've kind of given him a very sort of contemplative kind of pose for an orc. It's very interesting. It gives him a very different feel. It's definitely cool, but it's just interesting how they went through the reverse of what the art was, which is you know, it's cool. It's cool. It's a nice idea. Yeah, tons and tons of influence here. Like all of the tats on the side here, very sort of almost Polynesian in inspiration, you know, or Pacific Islands, that sort of thing. They've got all these like little interwoven patterns and so on, and you can see it here on the orc as well. Sorry, on the squig. Yeah, interesting. Really, really cool. Again, tons of conversion possibilities, tons of interesting ideas here. Again, the bionics are way more advanced than most orcs get, which is kind of a curious, you know, theme for the Snagga boys, like giving them that sort of like primitive and advanced kind of combination, which is really cool to see for orcs, something new at least. Then we come down, so now we've got the sort of generic boss here, which is, you know, the one you take, your beast boss, which will be the one you take if you're not taking the special character. And yeah, he's cool. It looks like it might even be it could even be a conversion. Maybe you do both in the one kit, could be, because this has got the same bionic leg. So this could be a conversion or you know, an option within that main kit. It would make sense, but that's really cool as well. And then it just goes on. So now we've got like, so which ones are these? Now we've got here we go. So the new boys. So this looks like, yeah, this is the knob or the leader in the group, and they're going to show all the new boys. So yeah, really cool. You know, just like the old boys, but better, right? They're standing up more upright. They're less squat. They've got more detail, a little bit more of that fine work in their faces and so on. As I said before, they've got more cranium now, which gives the orc just a better overall look and feel. You know, it's a bit more. It shows a bit more of the human in it, which makes it more I guess, intimidating, because you can see more of yourself here, and that's a very unsettling thing. So just giving them that little bit more extra cranium and so on is just helping to make these orcs just feel a bit more brutal and a bit more interesting and less alien and more relatable, really. If you can have something like this be relatable, but it definitely, you know, it's standing more upright. It's definitely the way to go for orcs. Yeah, so good. They're all really cool. I love all the options here. This face is great. You know, you can tell the sculptors had a lot of fun doing these. There's interesting, you know, characters here, and each one they've tried to add a little element or something that makes them interesting and unique, and I think they've done that. Love this version of the boss. That's really cool. I think I'd probably do him compared to the other one. The claw is classic, and this head's really cool with the big iron jaw. So yeah, everything here is just beautiful, you know. Really, really cool. And then this hasn't been updated in a million years. So the Deathcopter. So it's so amazing to see this thing actually be updated. What a cool thing to see this come to life and be a plastic kit for like Speed Freak armies and stuff. I'm sure we'll be using them. I would imagine they're getting a bit of a buff to their rules, because I know that at least in this edition or whatever, they're not that favored, I think. But I'm sure with a new model kit, you're going to see much better rules for these. So that would mean that, Speed Freaks armies or other, fast-moving armies for Orks will be able to utilize them. I would imagine they're going to end up with, like, decent rules. But, yeah, what a great kit. I love all this, the way the bombs are in the front. And, yeah, everything about them is really cool. They've got some nice variations, the little mask on the Ork there. There's tons of little options. A big bomb in the front instead of lots of small ones. The rockets on the blades. Everything about it's really, really cool. So that's awesome. So let's come down. We'll have a look. Yeah. So basically, and here you have the little blur, I guess, teaser for the Black Templars. So that they're probably going to get, I would imagine, a codex. We'll see. It's hard to say, but I would imagine so, considering they're showing off this. So, in fact, the moment a crusade was mentioned, they came running as fast as they could. You'll have to stay tuned for more information, though. So keep an eye on the community page. So it doesn't really say exactly what they're going to get, but I would imagine maybe it'll only be rules in one of those campaign books. It's hard to say, but I would imagine they'll get some sort of model release as well for it, or something new to go along with it, not just rules. That'd be kind of weird to bother with that and not actually add any new model alongside it. But we'll wait and see. They've done a lot of things here that's updated old models, so you never know. You never know what they'll be doing with it. So, yeah, a big lot of new releases to go through. Let's leave it on the Deathcopter here, because he's really cool. A lot of people will be satisfied. Imperial Guard players, Ork players, even Black Templar players. There's so much there to go through. The Kill Team game looks nice. It looks like it's going to be very much like a Warcry game. You've got all kinds of interesting stuff here that bode well for the future of the codexes for the main game, as well as that sub game. A whole range of really interesting things happening here for 40k, which is really nice to see. Just the design aesthetic and everything that they're doing to increase the look and feel of those models and the character of them is just like stepping up a new notch, and gives all the Xeno players and the Imperial Guard players something really fun to look forward to. And I think that's really needed, because some of those armies have been waiting a long time for releases and a long time for things to come for their faction. So, yeah, really, really cool. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. Please hit that like button, subscribe button. Really helps me out if you have. And otherwise, I'll catch you on the next one.